Hello and welcome to Election Night on THV 11. We have so much to share with you, but we can first of all say with all the accuracy in the world that this has been a historic night in Arkansas politics.
Yeah, we've been following it closely, and from the issues to the candidates, THV 11 is your election central, and we have extensive team coverage tonight. And that includes the governor's race that we've been following very closely.
Team coverage of the governor's race. Frederick Price is at Chris Jones' headquarters. We've been waiting to hear from Chris Jones, but first, Sarah Huckabee at the headquarters for the projected victor, Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Yeah, the race was called very early in the night, just minutes after polls closed. This watch party actually became more of a Sarah meeting, voters meeting, supporters party. She's been going around for the last few hours and is still taking photos on stage with her staff and supporters. She spoke with us a little while ago, sharing her thanks to the other candidates, to everyone who voted for her, and for her time in Arkansas. She also mentioned some things that she's been talking about in her platform throughout this lengthy campaign process. Her focus is our education and the economy. She's really going to get into those and try to fight for Arkansas. That's what she was saying, and really get to know the state and show her kids more of the state. So family was really a big focus there. Also thanking her father and thanking him for his legacy as governor. So right now we're just soaking it in all in after this early call. The campaign staff said they were hoping for an early call and they couldn't have asked for anything more than this, especially after being so confident going into this evening.
The reason we started this journey nearly 2 years ago is because I absolutely love Arkansas. I love everything about it. About 2 years ago, I asked my parents if I could borrow their RV for a week. I still haven't given it back. More than 10,000 miles, 75 counties, here we are. Sorry, Mom and Dad, about all the miles. It has been an absolutely amazing journey every step of the way. One of the things I love most about Arkansas, and certainly love about the campaign, is the people that you meet along the way. I've gotten the opportunity over the last 2 years to fall in love with Arkansas over and over and over and over again, and it has been tremendous. In these moments, I'm reminded of people like Chuck, who for 20 years I didn't know his name and simply referred to him as an angel in a pickup truck. Chuck saved my life and my sister-in-law's life when we flipped a car near Mountain View when we were in college. It wasn't until I was on the campaign trail that I was reunited with him and got to connect with him. Such an amazing moment. People like Lena, who's an immigrant who came to this country for a better life. She works as a fashion designer at one of Arkansas's flagship companies, Dillard's. But on every hour that Lena had off, she came into our office, she made calls, she knocked doors, and was our best volunteer and reminded us of the greatness and the goodness of the people in this state every moment. And I met a guy named Vic at a veterans home in Harrison, Camp Jack, where I got to be part of the opening for that community center. Vic is an 80-year-old veteran, and on the morning of that opening, Vic was up on a ladder, painting into the rafters to make sure it was perfect for those who have served and given us this great country. People like Vic are the very best of who we are. And I'm forever thankful for him and all of those who have served that I have had the opportunity to meet along the campaign. One of the other things I love about Arkansas, we have the most beautiful state in the country. There's a reason we're called the natural state. You haven't lived until you have seen a sunrise in flooded green timber just before the ducks come in. We had the chance to do that, float the buffalo with our entire team, and we only broke one canoe in half. We won't name names. We had the opportunity to race a cardboard boat in Greer's Ferry. We had the chance to walk in the Pink Tomato Festival in absolutely torrential downpour. I'd like to apologize once again to my campaign staff who were all wearing white t-shirts, but I'm pretty sure we're going to win Warren. I also had the chance to take my kids on this journey, for them to see Arkansas, frankly, in the way that I did growing up. And it has been amazing to watch them see some of these things for the first time. We got to watch George, our youngest, win the Hope Watermelon Festival contest. Way to go, George. We got to watch Scarlett grow up and become the most amazing big sister to her two brothers. We are so proud of you. And just this week, our son Huck was elected mayor in his elementary school. But at the end of the day, this campaign was never about me. It was about each of you. It was about all of the people across the state of Arkansas, the people who showed up at our events, the people who made calls, the people who knocked doors, and frankly, even the people who did not vote for me. This election is about taking Arkansas to the top. I know that Arkansas can be first, and I'm committed to being the leader that takes us there. I can't tell you how thankful I am for the people in this room who got us to this moment. I'm so thankful for the most amazing campaign staff you could ever imagine, who have put in tireless hours, listened to me complain about more than one or two things, and never once back down from the fight that we were in over the course of 2 years. Thank you to our amazing campaign staff who are all over this room tonight. I also want to thank my family, all who are back here, who have suffered through so many events, so many speeches, and my poor kids who have missed their mom and provided a content for most of those speeches. I could not ask for a better group of people to stand by my side and be part of every minute of this journey. To my parents who have supported me no matter what I was doing, my brothers, my sister-in-law, my in-laws who welcomed me into their family as if I was one of their own, to each of my kids, most importantly to my husband, who has been the rock for our family, not just over the course of these 2 years, but frankly over the course of nearly 13 years of marriage. Brian, I am so grateful for you. And thank you so much to the people of Arkansas who've entrusted this responsibility to me. I will be forever grateful to each of you, and I promise I won't let you down. I will never, ever forget who and what we are fighting for, because I have 3 little reminders, Scarlett, Huck, and George, who are gonna hold me accountable and remind me that every single decision I make as governor will have a direct impact on their life and the life of every kid in Arkansas. That is not at all something I take lightly, but it is something I know I'm ready to take on. I look forward to being Arkansas's very best governor for the next 8 years. Thank you so much. God bless you. God bless our great state. Thank you.
Now, we'd be remiss if we didn't bring in Lance as well. And Lance, you know, you've been following this race with us kind of all night, following the results from Sarah Huckabee Sanders and her win. Can you tell us a little bit about what you think with the results tonight?
Well, decisive victory so far. We still got some vote to count, but certainly right now 62% to 36% with 34% of the vote in-house right now. You know, that was all. It's been kind of a lopsided race so far. I mean, Sarah Huckabee Sanders spending $9.2 million in her campaign war chest for the general election alone. Chris Jones at just under $2 million, and also just enjoyed the celebrity, the Trump touch in a state that still values Trump and still is a big backer of the former president, a deeply red Republican state, and almost from the moment that she declared, she was seen as the front runner, and that carried through in poll after poll that we saw throughout the campaign, and never really lost that advantage, even up against a good candidacy, a good campaign by Chris Jones, a nationally recognized campaign by Chris Jones.
Interestingly enough, in her acceptance speech, she never mentioned President Trump in that speech, nor President Biden.
All right, Ashley, thank you. Now to what was by far the biggest issue among the constitutional amendments, marijuana.
THV 11's Julissa Garza live with the group behind this measure, and they are behind her.
That's right. We've been here with Responsible Growth Arkansas since about 3 o'clock. The energy in the room has definitely changed. They were very hopeful this was the only issue, is the only issue on the ballot that is citizen driven, but still staying a little bit optimistic. We've got Alex Gray here with Responsible Growth Arkansas. I know you've been keeping a close eye on the polls. We've talked about the dip in the support we've seen from September to now. How are you feeling right now knowing that there's a large percentage of Arkansans so far not supporting this issue?
Yeah, I think that all of the issues seem to have underperformed pretty significantly. So, it's certainly not looking like it's going to go in our favor, but I think it's one of those things where we're going to wait and see the votes come in, and we'll kind of evaluate things. If we come up short, we'll kind of evaluate things and look forward.
Now, I know it was a big push to get all the way here, and that's something that you were just thankful for to really make the ballot. But going forward, if this issue doesn't pass, are you concerned about being able to get this on another ballot?
I think it's something we'll have to just kind of reevaluate. If we'll look at and kind of see what people liked about the proposal, what people didn't like about the proposal, and if there's something that we think is a pathway forward, then we'll certainly evaluate that.
Thank you so much. And as he mentioned, looking at that amendment, when you talk to those who are against this issue, they say the amendment is flawed. Even those who supported medical marijuana saying the amendment is flawed, saying that if there was some changes to it, they could support it. Now, I did mention that I've been keeping in contact tonight with those who are against issue 4. I spoke with the Family Council Action Committee, Jerry Cox, who says it looks like the issue is not going to pass, which is something that they're hoping for. They're also keeping an eye on issue 3, issue 2. So a lot of eyes still all on the ballot for issue 1 through 4. But as you can see, pretty empty in here. Everybody's pretty much left the room.
Rolly Hoyt here with Charles King, our election analyst here on THV 11 Election Central. And we're going to talk now about 3 other big races that are not called yet, on their way to easy calls, starting with the race for U.S. Senate. John Boozman appears set to go back to D.C. for a 3rd term in the U.S. Senate. 65.45% of the vote over Natalie James, a Little Rock political activist here, Mr. King.
Yeah, John Boozman, who started his political career on the heels of his brother, his late brother, has been everybody's friend. So there's no surprise there that he gets 65% of the vote.
A former Razorback football player, part of a political family, a former eye doctor, now a chance to take a powerful position in the Agricultural Committee up there in the Senate. So this is what he had to say upon getting that call of winning tonight.
It seems like yesterday, and I can remember back my last Razorback football game. I took my jersey off and I was talking to my buddies whose lockers were around me, and I said, I've done my time. I vow never to sweat again. Thanks to you all, we didn't have to sweat very much tonight.
So not much sweating there. Now, we've got an interesting situation in Arkansas, Charles. We've got a general looking to be a lieutenant, and a lieutenant looking to be a general. We'll start first by talking about Attorney General Leslie Rutledge, who appears to be on her way to becoming the next lieutenant governor, which will mean, if this race does get called with these vote totals, that we will have an all-female executive suite in this state with Sarah Huckabee Sanders as the governor, Leslie Rutledge comfortably in front of Kelly Ross Kraut, and then switching places with Lieutenant Governor Tim Griffin, who is comfortably ahead of Jesse Gibson in the race to be Attorney General. Tim Griffin, a man with experience both in the military as well as on Capitol Hill as a representative from here in central Arkansas. No real surprises in these races today.
No real surprises. I tell you, as a true veteran who was a lieutenant but never a general, but I ended my career as a captain, I can tell you that up and down thing, you only want to go up, not down. But Leslie Rutledge, of course, she really wants to be governor. She made that clear, but when the path was not there, she settled for lieutenant governor. We'll now have to see how, as you said, an all-female suite will work.
There'll be some national aspirations for just about all of the big winners tonight. They'll have a bit of a mandate. We want to take a look at some of the other races that are coming up tonight. We've been talking all about some of the surprising things, how close it has been and the direction in the issues, as well as what we've seen in the mayor's race, how right now it appears that Mayor Scott is comfortably ahead of runoff territory.
Well, he's comfortably ahead of runoff territory, and a bit down ballot from the mayor's race is the city director's race, where it looks like Doris Wright will probably be out and a friend of the mayor will be in.
That's quite an end of an era there shaping up in Little Rock City government. Plenty of other races that we are keeping an eye on, guys.
Mayor Frank Scott Jr. was up on stage just a second ago, and I believe he's still back there. Yeah, still taking pictures with supporters. Of course, a lot of people here are very excited to speak with him, tell him about, their lives here in Little Rock. He's very excited to talk to them as well. He is all smiles as he's up there. When he was up on stage, he talked a lot about what he wants to do for the next 4 years. He said, I am the mayor for you, and here's what he has to say.
First and foremost, to the residents of Little Rock, there was a clear choice. Do we succumb to fear, or do we go backwards? Do we go back to a wallowing in stagnation? Do we go back to fueling a brain drain? Do we go back to turning a blind eye to neglected, historically forgotten neighborhoods? And we said no.
Just got the word that Steve Landers may be coming to his podium here any second now. I'm glad you're still watching here. And we got to tell you up front that this is not a settled issue, Lance. This is still going on.
There's still some vote out on this, and votes from Pulaski County have been slow all night for various reasons that we're going to be exploring, I think, going forward as to what's kind of happened with the vote count. But yeah, there's still some vote to come out, and now we've got Steve Landers who will be speaking.
See what he has to say now.
Sandy. I was waiting on my wife. Okay. First, I want to thank you for coming tonight. First, I want to thank my wife for being with me tonight. That's what I want to do first. And I want to thank my family for all coming in. I'm grateful to the voters in Little Rock for the votes we got. We came up a little short. Congratulations to Mayor Scott, pledged to help make Little Rock more successful. Thousands voted for change, and we hope the mayor heard these thousands that voted. Now we can go back. I'm going to go back into retirement. No. And I'm going to enjoy a life that's filled with God's grace. I want to thank y'all for all coming tonight. I want to thank for y'all's support, for all the workers, for all the volunteers, for all the people that helped support this campaign. It was just, we just came up short. We worked hard. You can't work any harder than I worked it. I worked it 14 months. But there's always a winner and there's always a loser. Tonight I was a loser. So I want to thank the city employees. I wish you guys the best because y'all were counting on me, and I feel like I let you down. And I feel like I want you to know that, hey, it's going to be, the sun's going to come up tomorrow, and it's going to be a new day. But I want the people to understand what's going on in our city. And that's what if nothing else, we've got that accomplished by letting a lot of people know what actually is happening in our city. Thank y'all and have a good night.
So as you saw there, Steve Landers has conceded. He said that he was going to go back into retirement, and he did congratulate Frank Scott Jr. for his win as the re-elected mayor of Little Rock. And now he's walking and talking to people, and they are just talking. Anyway, I'll turn it back to the studio.
All right, Ashley. Well, that was a concession speech. We were saying there was a lot of there were more votes to be counted, but Steve Landers had seen enough, obviously, with his wife, Sandy,
Yes.
who he married 1 year out of high school. He graduated high school and married her very next year. So they've been married a long time.
Wow.
And this has probably been one of the most unusual moments in their lives that they've been through, because he's been a businessman car dealer all of his life.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine, the conceding has to be one of the toughest things to do, especially after a hard-fought campaign.
Just heard Landers conceded. What's the first thing going through your minds?
First thing going through my mind right now is just to share appreciation to all of the residents of Little Rock who voted to re-elect us. That's first and foremost. Secondly, I want to say thank you to all of the candidates that were in the race. This was a long race. And we all love the city of Little Rock, and we want the best for the city of Little Rock. So I share my appreciation to each member that ran. And so, as we've always said, our internal mission is to unite, grow, and transform the city of Little Rock. We want to continue to focus on growing forward in jobs, population, affordable housing, and more families choosing to live in the state's capital city. And that's what it's all about, on how we build bridges and continue to focus on unity, growth, and transformation.
We kind of talked this morning about what would you do if you were reelected on that day one starting tomorrow, and obviously that is now the case. Day one tomorrow, what are you looking forward to?
Day one's now. We're still focused on identifying our new police chief, as I shared. I wanted to get that done by Election Day. We are focused on that, and we're going to continue to focus on that. So that's number one. Number two, we want to continue to focus on growing forward. That's growing forward in every aspect of our city, focus on quality of life and place, our parks and recreation, ensuring that we have the best of everything here in the city of Little Rock, because we are the state's capital city, and it starts with us, and we want to continue to work together. Again, also, I want to share appreciation to members of the City of Little Rock Board of Directors as we continue to work together with them as well, because that's how it happens. It's a team effort, and so clearly we've won this re-election, but we have to work as a team with the city board, and want to share appreciation to them.
To see this many people out here in support tonight, what does that mean to you?
Oh, it's a humbling experience to have anyone to cast a vote for you. It's a humbling experience to have people, this crowd that looks exactly like Little Rock and all of its diversity, to be here at 11 o'clock at night. So, because we all focus together and working together in unity, and so it's a blessing. I'm going to continue to say my prayers tonight and in the morning as we continue to execute the mission to unite, grow, and transform the city of Little Rock.
And you and I spoke this morning, and I had mentioned some things, obviously, that your opponents have brought up against you in the past couple of months. How do you move past that now that you're reelected? How do you move? I guess
we move forward. Yeah, we continue to move forward. We continue. Crime prevention is the top priority of my administration. We're going to continue to focus on our holistic approach. Our acting chief of police have already shared that we have to sustain this type of work because it takes long. It's a long-term solution, and it's not a quick fix. And so we're going to continue to share our appreciation to the men and women of the Little Rock Police Department. Crime prevention is still number one, and we're going to continue to be number one and continue to move forward on all aspects of quality of life and place, so more families are continuing to choose to live in the city of Little Rock and grow Little Rock.
Last question I'll ask you, to the voters, if you were speaking one-on-one to a voter right now, what do you say to them, someone who voted for you?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate each and every voter, whether they voted for me or not. They exercised their right to vote. There's so many people who fought, bled, and died for that right to vote, and they cast that vote. And they cast the vote in a majority for a growing forward mission. And we're going to continue to focus on that growing forward mission together. And I just want to let them know how much I thank them. You're talking to a young man from Southwest Little Rock. To be the 73rd mayor, it is the dream of mine. To be reelected is still a dream. I haven't woken up yet, and I just want to let them know how much I appreciate them.